did notice the backdrop here. Here in Indiana, because we campaign on bold ideas and try to govern that way as well, you have campaigned and governed in a similar fashion. Can you give us a sneak peek or talk about a few more of the issues as the nomination process unfolds that you might offer the American public?
We need to be the party that leads the discussion on rebuilding the core of this country, because that's the only issue that matters today. And if we can occupy the territory that speaks to debt and spending, that speaks to economic revitalization, that speaks to our place in the world. You pull out the map, folks, and you see that we've still got some hangover from the Cold War. You know, we have 50,000 troops in Germany. I hate to inform you, the Russians aren't coming. In 20 different installations. We have some work to do to really become a 21st century preeminent power. And the Republican Party, based on its traditions of the past, can occupy this territory. And if we occupy this territory with a big heart and a big tent, we win. If we are exclusionary and don't think broadly and boldly about the issues of our day, we lose. I like to think that we are a party that draws traditions from Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator. You know, it was human dignity that he stood up for. You know, go read the second inaugural address delivered in 1865 if you want to be inspired sometime. Short, probably no more than 5 minutes long. He talked about the state of our nation. In the end, it was about the widows and the orphans. What do we do about the widows and the orphans? That was on his mind at the end of the second. It's the most inspiring speech. And I go to the Lincoln Memorial every now and again, and I turn right and I read it on the wall. And it still inspires me to this day. We draw inspiration from Abraham Lincoln. We draw inspiration from Theodore Roosevelt, who loved the land, who sent out the Great White Fleet in 1909 to show America's power for the first time. It was the kind of power that spoke volumes, but it was handled with a sense of humility. And that was Teddy Roosevelt, who loved the land as well. And we pulled traditions from General Eisenhower, who people are just beginning to appreciate more and more. His dignified leadership, the interstate system that he built, and many more, from Nixon to Reagan through the Bush administrations. We have a lot of traditions that this party is drawing on. And I'm here to tell you, we've got to keep a lot of those traditions alive and well, and we've got to occupy the land. It says we're thinking ahead, we're thinking boldly, and we're thinking in big strokes, and it's about rebuilding our core in this country. Nothing else matters. The people of this country, they want their core rebuilt, they want jobs created, they want economic stability and security. Libya's a great thing. The rebels, you know, are marching forward, and they've had a great victory. But let me just tell you something, folks. The future of the United States isn't Afghanistan, and it isn't Iraq, and it isn't Libya. The future of this country is how prepared we are to compete in a highly competitive 21st century, and that's going to be an economic set of challenges across the Pacific Ocean. That's the bottom line of the 21st century, and we need to remember that and not take our eye off the ball. And in order to compete, we got to get our core. We got to get our core rebuilt. And the American or the Republican Party, based upon our tradition of free markets, entrepreneurship, up by the bootstraps, free trade, big bold foreign policy, confident foreign policy in an asymmetric world, which today is, as opposed to the world we left behind after the Cold War. That's going to win elections for a long time. We just have to keep our eye focused on where we are in this historic cycle.